Welcome to Day Zero Update for November 23rd, 2025. I'm your host, Chris Logi.
I'm Brandon Perkins.
And I'm Daniel Victoria.
And yeah, we've got a big week of news here, as we've got the Game Award nominations were announced, as weird as they are. We got the Xbox Partner Showcase with some interesting stuff. We also have, some more games being delayed, some stuff coming out early next year. As well as some industry news, especially Nintendo going to war for probably the least likely reason you expected, as well as some Ubisoft news. But before we get to that stuff, we will talk about what we've been playing, and I'll kick it off here. I've been playing a cool little indie game called Sectori. That is a game from a former Housemarque developer. Let's see what his name was real quick. Yeah, Kimmo Lehtinen. I believe his brother is the composer for this game. Otherwise, Kimmo did all of the coding and art and design work and all that. This is a dual stick shooter, as you might expect, with somebody that worked at Housemarque for a good 13, 14 years. Something like that. Worked on Resogun, Super Stardust, and all that. And it has a lot of vibes from that, as well as, let's say, some Geometry Wars as well, because a lot of the enemies are kind of simple shapes, maybe more three-dimensional shapes than Geometry Wars tended to have. But you are, in the campaign, basically playing this really interesting and very overwhelming game. The tutorial does not explain all the mechanics. It just kind of gives you a lot of the basics, and then is like, well, discover the rest as you play. And as you're shooting enemies, they're dropping these little tokens that you collect to essentially unlock little upgrade tokens that you can get that will drop after something fills up. This is kind of one of those games that is very visually overwhelming, to the point that there are UI elements I did not notice for a few runs. And so, yeah, you're getting these upgrade tokens that are essentially highlighting different parts of this list of stats and whatever weapons you can upgrade, sort of like a Gradius game. Starts with like speed, all the way up to your strike move, which is essentially like a dash you have at enemies that then results in a big like explosion that will kill enemies nearby. The shield, which you get one shield, and then if an enemy hits you, you get, essentially like a big like explosion, and then I have to wait a bit for it to reform, so you try to avoid getting hit with anything. Then you can get missiles if you let it go all the way towards the top, and that is nice. You don't have missiles from default. And then the blaster, you can upgrade your blaster, your main weapon, for that. So you're kind of Friday style, letting it collecting these tokens, and it goes further up this list. The further up, you're getting sort of more powerful additions to your arsenal, working your way through the stages, which are kind of constantly evolving. Like feels like every like 10 to 20 seconds, the stage, you'll see parts of it with the floor glowing red, and it indicates like this will disappear shortly. So if you don't move out of the way, it's going to literally blow up your ship. And then you're right, so you want to be out of the way. The nice thing it does is like the tokens that drop, the upgrade tokens will move to the next form of the stage if it's in the red area, so you're not screwed over by it being essentially in an out of bounds area. It will move to a place that you can access. There's also score tokens that give you extra score and maybe does something else. Again, it's dense with mechanics that aren't always easily set away. And then there's a whole weird Tony Hawk mechanic where you're seeing these uh, spots show up where it's cycling through letters that I thought were different power ups, but then notice that there's a word in the bottom right part of the screen. Those are letters from out of that. So maybe you're getting some sort of bonus out of that, but I think you're also trying to fill up uh, all those spots. So
Mm-hmm.
like on the easiest difficulty, it's the word mirage, and on the hardest difficulty for the campaign, it's the word revolution. So you definitely get tougher as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's also combos that happen in chains and all this other stuff that goes on. Things that you definitely won't notice right away for a bit. But yeah, you're kind of in the campaign trying to get through each world, and with the um, completing the first world, you start unlocking these side modes, um, and that is where you get a lot of extra stuff, almost like Geometry Wars 2, where that kind of had a bunch of side modes that you could unlock, and you get some similar ideas there. There's one that's basically a pacifist mode, where you're running through these bars that will explode and take out enemies nearby. You get one that's like a classic mode where there's none of the upgrade stuff. As far as I recall of that, there's a handful of others. One is like a boss rush mode that is pretty cool. Just throws you through all the bosses. So if you want to see and kind of probably have more practice with that stuff, that's a good mode to try out. Um, each of those modes unlocks progressively as you get at least a D rank in the previous
Mm-hmm.
one. It'll show you like the scores for that stuff. F rank is everything up to the score for the D rank.
Mm.
And then there's scores for getting C, B, A, I think S and S plus as the highest. And there's also leaderboards. So it doesn't do the Geometry Wars 2 thing of like showing you nearby people on the leaderboards. So I don't have anybody on my friends list playing this yet, so I don't have anybody to compete with there, but I do have, overall leaderboard stuff. That all works pretty well. But it could use the ability to highlight people near where your high score is, maybe uh, give you an easier time to know like when you're reaching your personal high score and other people's high scores and all that. That would be nice to see added to this, but this is a very small team of
Mm.
devs for this, so I'm not hugely surprised it's not in there at launch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the campaign has 3 different difficulties. I tried all of them, and they're not like impossibly hard. The higher ones, I think the middle one is described as like the intended difficulty for once you've got your feet under you in this game, and then the last one is kind of a just like here's one for masochists kind of thing,
Mm.
which I did okay in, but also I trying to get further in is where it'd be much harder. Let's see, there's also there's a bunch of other mechanics happening on here. You got little paths that show up of enemies flying in from off the screen that you can kill for an extra bonus. There's like a card system. Essentially, you get these cards that give you extra perks. Essentially, and you can choose the like decks you want in that. It's like 8 decks. Gives you 8 to start, and then as you start doing well and unlocking medals, which are like little mini achievements in this game, is at least 100, but not all of them are tied to trophies. So you start looking at unlock more customization for your ship. You get different colors effects you can apply to it. Um, and there's more of those decks you can swap stuff out. So if you want ones that more focus on missile upgrades or blaster upgrades or just strike upgrades, all that kind of stuff, it's got a lot of different things there to break out. I think eventually you unlock was like these they're not perks. They're kind of like things to make the game even harder for probably score
Mhm.
bonuses. That kind of thing. That is really a pretty cool addition to probably get even higher scores. But yeah, this is a game that if you like your dual stick shooters, this is one I definitely recommend. It's $15 on PS5, Xbox, and PC.
Mhm.
Really great art style, really great music. It's got that kind of music. When I was looking at the level when I was gonna stream some of it, it was at like staying at that same constant level of like EDM, techno music kind of thing. That would kind of do that uh, or effect where it kind of gets fuzzier for a bit and then or muzzled for a bit and then kind of unmuzzles itself. Uh, and just kind of keeps going. Then I realized when I checked the audio options that it was at like a 6 out of 10 for how loud it was. I was like, oh, this is one of those games that will tries to overwhelm your senses. Um, it could maybe use some more accessibility for turning some of that stuff down a little bit. Because it does start with like a photosensitivity kind of thing for strobing lights and all that kind of thing. I'm sure that's also part of the difficulty of having it be overwhelming visuals. But yeah, it's got a lot of fun stuff there, and the bosses are really interesting. They're very Super Stardust style of having blinking buttons and such. You need to hit on these big enemy, different kinds of enemy formations and all that. There's like a big snake. There's one that just shoots out a bunch of shots at you. You have to hit buttons to do that. There's a combo system just around the bosses where those buttons once you destroy one of the buttons, it'll say hit this specific button to destroy it to keep the combo going. So if you want to max out scores that way, there's ways to do that. And yeah, there's just a lot of systems, a lot of fun stuff, and it's definitely has a strong chance of making it on my top 10 for this year because it's just been so much fun and all that. Yeah, so there's that. Been playing, or I played some Morsels, the roguelite from Furcula, whose artist worked on a game that I'm trying to remember which one it is. Yeah, did the artwork for what's his? Let me see. I'm not sure what the other game was. But yeah, it's got a really interesting style to it. It's a very kind of gross art style, almost like a mix of like a dump mixed with like guts, like stomach intestines, kind of stuff. The way the environment kind of looks here. You're playing these creatures called morsels that are essentially these different like forms, and they have different attacks to them. Some are sort of basic dual stick shooter kind of shooting attacks, though you do have a cooldown for that. So
Mhm.
some of them run out faster, some of them run out, a little later. Some have like dual bullet shots. Some have single shots. Some just do melee in that kind of style.
Mhm.
Um, and so you're kind of playing more and more to trying to get further in, and it's also got a lot of maybe spelunky to it, where there's a lot of elements of combining things. You'll find items like tickets that you need to carry around because eventually you'll find a bus that could get you to a special level. Or maybe there's multiple. The one time I did it, I got turned into a frog by some enemy and went to essentially their version of a Frogger level. Then I died there, so that wasn't fun. But it's kind of one of those really interesting kind of roguelikes where you're kind of got a little immersive sim to it, where it's a lot of ways that the environment works, and you're trying to figure out how everything fits together, how you get around, and do that stuff. Yeah, it's a little hard to describe. exactly what's going on here, but yeah, it's a really interesting game. I was playing it on Steam on my PC, and it kind of just started running poorly enough that I just ended up getting a refund. Not because I didn't enjoy the game, but it just was running poorly enough. I didn't want to keep playing it there, so I'll be rebuying it on PS5 when I get a second here while it's on a launch discount. $15 with a 10% discount, so $13.49. So I'm going to repurchase that here probably sometime this week. But I really enjoyed what I was playing. I just kind of had one of those weird things where it just ran poorly for some reason. It probably runs fine on Steam Deck, but I didn't want to buy a game that only runs well on my Steam Deck for this kind of game. But yeah, it's got a lot of interesting stuff to it. Fun, gross art style and all that. So definitely recommend checking that out if that sounds interesting. Also been playing Power Simulator 2. I'm near the end. I've got like 4 more stages to go. Trying to work on unlocking all the parts for the last washer that I have, where all the parts are like $1,300, $1,900, $2,000 for that stuff. As the story starts to pick up, there's more uncertainty going on, some shit happening in places that you're not expecting. But yeah, gonna keep working on that, and then been jump back into some stuff I played for a bit, like Fantasy Life I. Been enjoying that, pushing the story further because I've got less uh, things to do on the main island I've been on for a while, um, especially for some of the combat jobs that have little challenges for killing certain enemies, but they tell you exactly where they're at, and they're in areas that I wasn't at that point. So push the story ahead, and in some of those areas. So I'm working on that. So the campaign wants me to keep zipping around back and forth and through different areas and through time and all that. So I'm kind of doing what I can, but still liking that a lot. And then also been playing more Ball Pit. I got the last character unlocked in that game, and the last handful of these characters do a lot of interesting stuff I wasn't expecting them to do. Um, there's one that's a turn-based character where I think every few lines you go forward, it stops and lets you aim where you want to shoot and do that. There's one where the gravity is reset to the top of the screen, so as you're shooting at the enemies, they will just sit there and bounce around like the way you would expect for that to work. But the newest character I got ends up being a complementary one to another character I got earlier. That one being the one that picks all their upgrades themselves. This is a character that moves around and shoots by themselves. So essentially, you pair them up with the upgrade you get, where you can have 2 characters picked at once, and essentially is a whole run by itself, which was not what I was expecting, but was a neat thing to try out. Which it managed to get through a whole run successfully. So yeah, that's a neat. I think I have probably one more stage to get through, and I'm trying to unlock some of these other buildings I've unlocked to put them on in my town and get them built and all that. They're pretty expensive, so I'm still working for some of that. And there's a bunch of achievements on this that I'm still not even close to getting all of them. I still have like another 40 or so, and a bunch of them are hidden in a way that's kind of annoying. I think there's a way to see them, but right now, I still gotta work my way through a bunch of these achievements here. But for content being unlocked, I'm still doing pretty well on that stuff. Kind of building out some of these other areas and getting all the things going on and upgrade. At a certain point, you start unlocking a bunch of buildings that have these weird side abilities. Something you don't think should have that. There's one that's like, oh, put all the other character buildings, the buildings that unlock these characters around it, and they get XP bonuses. And it's like that's a whole mess of a thing to look at. But then there are other buildings that will do additional things that sometimes I participate in that. So others I'm just like, I don't really care enough to deal with that, and just shove them off into a corner somewhere.
Mm.
But yeah, looking at some of these spoilers, it's a lot of beat all the stages with this character. Um, the one they don't have hidden is for the first character, the soldier, um, which is tough because he's the only one that doesn't start with any sort of bonus perk to him. So he's just kind of the most bland character. So that's sort of a challenge in itself. But otherwise, some of the buildings I have left will give me extra slots for active and passive balls to get. So those will probably help out with a lot of that stuff. So yeah, ball pit's been really fun still, even though I'm getting up to about 20 hours now in that game. And yeah, that's been pretty much it for the games. The other thing I got for Black Friday deals is I picked up PlayStation Portal because I was very curious with the big update they had recently to add the cloud streaming stuff officially to the device. Maybe the weirdest thing about the setting it up was that it had to go through like 3 or 4 updates. That then once the update finishes downloading, it goes through like a slow unpacking sort of bar for that. So it took like 30 minutes just to get to the point of logging in and start playing it. And I've been playing a decent bit of it so far, just doing the cloud streaming, not doing any of the remote play stuff. And that works pretty well. Like the only time I've seen any hitching is because I had something downloading. It was kind of stealing a little bit of bandwidth. Though even then, it didn't really interrupt it so much. It's just kind of like the video feed of the game kind of desynced a little bit, or like screen tearing kind of thing. But otherwise, the games ran smoothly. I played like Fantasy Life I, Sectoria on that, a few other games. I was trying to start Astroneer because they just put a PS5 upgrade for that game, which was frustrating mostly because I've not played that game on a controller in a long time, and it doesn't play like a Minecraft or anything. It's got a very weird control system to it. So it's like trying to figure out what the fuck I can't even do anything in that game because I can't figure out how to pick up a stupid oxygenator. But yeah, all that worked pretty well. Maybe my only reservation, because it's essentially a dual sense with a big screen between the two parts, is that the touchpad stuff in games you have to hit the screen in specific areas, I think twice to activate it. That could be a little bit tricky at points. And the other thing is also being a dual sense. I'm a little more wary of games where you're just hitting the same button a bunch. So like playing some Fantasy Life before bed last night, I was like, I am hitting these trees, just hitting one button like 20 times in a row. I'm like, I should probably stop playing this on this thing, or else I'll just wear out buttons real fast for one fucking game that I don't need to play before bed. Versus like something more like Satori, where you're mostly doing stick stuff in that. But yeah, that's on sale for 179.99 right now, $20 off. I had a gift card at the place, a little bit left, so I got like $5 extra off it. About 140 or 174 for that. So that's been pretty good so far, and it holds battery pretty well. I think I had it full charged at 100%, kind of let it sit for a while just to see if it loses battery like the Steam Deck does, and I kind of kept it right at 100. until I picked it up again. Turning it on and off is a little weird because you have to hit the power button that's kind of right behind the screen on the top side, on the left side. Then you have to hit the PlayStation button on it to go to the dashboard. Maybe there's an option for that. The volume buttons are really weird to hit because they're on the top right side behind the screen. There's two buttons there, and it's kind of real hard to hit either one comfortably for me. Almost kind of wish it had like your typical, like on a Switch or a Steam Deck or whatever, that you could turn the volume up or down in the little mini whatever mini menu that they have pop up when you hit the PlayStation button, which is where you can kind of adjust brightness and that kind of stuff. Volume should also be on there, so you don't have to mess with any stupid buttons for that. So there's a couple things they could improve on. They're also looking at my library of stuff that can be cloud streamed. It does not designate what is demos and what is games.
Yeah.
So I was like, do I have this? And I launched it up and I was like, oh, this is the demo. It's neat that you can play the demos as well, but you should have a way to sort out the demos from the full games and all that. So that's another issue, but they've been continually updating this thing, so I hope that it does get fixed at some point. Especially, they should allow you to do the folder stuff they do on the PS5 and sort of set up your own like groups of things, or let you pin them to the main dashboard. They just kind of pop up there. Especially, I think things get added as you add them to your account. So if you're grabbing like free to play games or demos or whatever, those will just pop up on the dashboard at the front, even though you haven't played them. It'll kind of push stuff off and make you have to go back to the library to find the things you want. So there's some quality of life stuff they do better with it, but otherwise I'm happy with it. So yeah, I can play some more stuff, more graphically demanding, and it feels like the battery holds up better on some of this stuff because it's not actually running the game on the system, so it's not draining as quickly as like things do on the Switch 2 or the Steam Deck, because those are running them natively for that. So yeah, that's been pretty much what I've been doing. So how about you, Brandon?
Well, as me, I'm still playing Power Wash Simulator 2. I am still stuck at the solar system exhibit. I'm almost done with it, though. I just have to deal with the ceiling. But next to that, I also went ahead and did the job for the trolley car, which was, it wasn't difficult. It's just that there was a lot of moving parts to that one, especially having to deal with the doors.
That was nice having the doors, because there's not too many doors on a lot of these jobs.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and yes, I did finally get the planets moving in the exhibit, which helped a little bit. Because like at least when you get out towards closer to the walls, like, Pluto and stuff will like blocks like a huge splotch of the wall, so you got to get it moving. But it can also be equally as annoying because you're basically moving around on tracks and you're trying to focus on one area and you're just sort of slowly moving to the right. But yeah, I managed to get through that. And like I said, I've basically got all of it except the ceiling, which is a pain in the ass because it's, for one thing, it's very large. And two, you're not just having to clean the ceiling, you're also having to clean all the little constellations that are stuck up there as well. So, a little chipping away at that. But like I said, also doing the trolley car, finished it last night. Very, it was entertaining, except for the doors. But yeah, and other than that, I finished Dispatch. I finished the main campaign, and that thing ended up ending really well. I loved it. I'm probably gonna start a second playthrough just because I want to see some of the other choices and see where they go. As far as like the storylines go. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. So, Dan, what about you?
Yeah, the main game I've been playing I can't talk about, but I've played a little bit more of Dispatch. I mentioned last week that I've been replaying it with my girlfriend. And the main things that I complained about were the dispatching and the hacking. And yeah, the dispatching I like a whole lot more. It really, really helps to just slow down while you're playing it and really understand the UI. I remember when I was first going through it, I was just dragging and dropping various heroes to various situations. I know like the ideal people to put there, and at the same time, you're also learning that some of your heroes are better suited for certain things. Because, for example, like let's say you put two people who are good at fighting in a scenario where you definitely need to have some fighters. But sometimes you'll have scenarios where your heroes get blocked up because, they need like some other kind of thing happening. And there are a whole bunch of options that are locked because you didn't put certain characters in that situation. And I'm like, oh, why would I have done this in the first place? So it kind of like keeps you on your feet there. But yeah, I definitely do have my appreciation for the dispatching now. But the hacking, I still hate. You eventually get to a part in the game where there's going to be antivirus things coming at you, and it's kind of like Pac-Man where you want to be able to avoid these things.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you also got to like unlock certain paths in order to get to other places, and the only way you can unlock those paths are if you went to like a random part of the maze and learned the button combinations to unlock certain areas. And in
Mm-hmm.
order to do that, you have to actually like um, unlock paths so that the antivirus little balls can get you. And you get to a point where um it gets extremely difficult and you only have 3 tries. Granted, I know you can actually go into the settings and have that failsafe on,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, that on top of the time limit doesn't make it easy, and it's rough in that regard. I know that there is a trophy or two tied to that, and maybe I'll just look up an FAQ to see how that works. But that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
something that I've been struggling with. But at the same time, nothing there is actually needed. You can go ahead and skip a lot of the stuff or just go ahead and fail and move on, and it won't really affect your playthrough or your story. But just thinking about all the possible casualties that can happen because you failed to hack things correctly, just it doesn't sit right with me, and it's definitely something to look forward to. But at the same time, yeah. I'm enjoying, playing for my girlfriend as she makes certain decisions. She's already gotten past the point where, you know, you pick a certain love interest, and she didn't know that that decision would all of a sudden like uh, have you go through that. She already went through the part where you have to fire somebody from the team, and she chose the one that I didn't choose. So I'm really enjoying just going through some certain things that I didn't see before because I did not play it that same way. So yeah, that's about it there. And yeah, hopefully during the next podcast I can go ahead and talk about the couple of games I've been playing.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's get to some news. And first off, we'll start with a sad story. We had the death of Rebecca Heineman, an
Mm-hmm.
industry legend
Oh
that you may
yes,
not have heard about.
I've definitely heard of her.
Yeah, she died abruptly because she had adenocarcinoma, an aggressive form of cancer. Had
Mm-hmm.
been raising funds through a GoFundMe to help pay for treatment for this, but essentially reached the point of no return, knowing she was going to pass from this. Updating it to say, "Please donate so my kids can create a funeral worthy of my
Mm-hmm.
keyboard pixel breaker, so I can make a worthy entrance for reuniting with my one true love, Janelle Jaquay."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, her wife passed away last year,
Mm.
but they had 5 children together, so plenty family legacy at least of people to remember them by. But yeah, Rebecca Heineman worked on a lot of games. Did kind of one of the more prolific port programmers. Uh, yeah, co-founded Interplay.
Mm-hmm.
One of those people. Yeah, her most well-known works includes The Bard's Tale 3, Thief of Fate, Defiance, and Dragon Wars. 1983, she ran Fargo, Jay Patel, and Troy Worrell. Founded Interplay Productions, which would go on to create Fallout and Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, she founded 2 more studios, Logic and Contraband Entertainment. Later doing programming work for companies like EA, Ubisoft, Bloomberg, Amazon, Microsoft, and Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she helped train other developers on Xbox 360 development and contributing to the kernel code for the PSP and PS4. She is transgender and sort of a pioneer for transgender game developers.
Mm-hmm.
Transitioned in 2003, still working throughout all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is very prolific. She, I believe, did the port for Doom to the 3DO.
Which is a bit considered a legendary feat, both because she was able to even do it at all, but also because of the short amount of time she had to do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that that game even functions in and of itself is damn near superhuman.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is a fun thing. She did a number of ports like that, especially like ports to the Mac platform.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So yeah, she led a heck of a career in the gaming industry as one of those people not always in front of a lot of these games. Just did a lot of work to help preserve games and port them to other platforms and do a lot of work that you can go find her YouTube channel where she talked a lot about stories of things she's done and all that. So yeah, definitely a big figure you should learn more about in the
Oh
wake of
yeah.
her passing.
Especially the story of how she did that Doom port, because it's incredible.
Yeah.
Legit. Like just it is amazing that she pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already went over the slate about everything she's done. Totally awesome. Rough story to hear. Cancer sucks. I don't really have much to
Yeah.
add other.
Yeah. Looking at her wiki page here. Yeah, she also won one of the first tournaments for
Mm-hmm.
games in the US. I'm trying to see which game it was. The Space Invaders. Uh, yeah, Atari 2600 Space Invaders Championship. Yeah, she did not expect to place among the top 100 contestants. She ended up winning the competition. Also won another in New York later that year. So yeah, she's considered the first champion of a national U.S. video game tournament for that, and yeah, worked on a ton of games throughout her life, and did a lot of fun stuff there. So yeah, there you go. Get to some other news. Ghost of Yote is getting an update here on Monday to add New Game Plus mode. That will, I assume, like the one for Ghost of Tsushima, unlocks after you finish the main story, adds new harder difficulty, or adds new harder difficulty options and 2 new trophies. There's a new currency that goes along with this called Ghost Flowers that you can exchange with a new vendor for more than 30 new cosmetics for armor sets, weapon dyes, and charms and all that. There's a new tier of upgrades for your existing armor sets and weapons as well. They've also added some other things with this update. That you'll be able to replay content in the post game after you've completed the main story. There's a new stats display for that stuff. New accessibility options, including directional button remapping, new photo mode features, and yeah, some stuff like that. So yeah, that's cool. Getting that out about a month and a half after launch is pretty good timing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's cool.
I'm still have not had a chance to play it, but I am hoping to very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly at a point where I think I want to start over. Like I've put in 2 hours, and then that was like when I first started playing the game, got involved playing with other stuff, and when I jump back in, like I still know what's happening in the story, but I just keep dying. I just forgot how to play, so I just gotta jump back into tutorials or just start over again.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. Got some games here coming out in the near future. On December 8th, Angeline Era will be out on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
This is the newest game from Analgesic Productions, makers of a bunch of cool games: Anodyne, Even the Ocean, Anodyne 2, Return to Dust, Stephanie, All Our Asias.
Mm-hmm.
They make a lot of really interesting games, and this is very much another one in that line of stuff here, as they describe it as a non-linear 3D action adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
Almost seems kind of like a Zelda, N64 Zelda kind of game in a way, but if it was top-down focused with that, I'm sure the story is going to be pretty interesting there as well. So yeah, that looks really neat. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Mm.
So yeah, there you go. Want to keep an eye on. The other ones here are coming out early next year.
Mm-hmm.
Ease X Proud Nordics is finally coming to the West, and unlike the Japanese version, which was let's see, a Switch 2 exclusive for a bit, that came out last year in July for the Switch 2, and then or maybe the Switch 2 and PC versions in August. Or no, that's Asia. Okay. Yeah, Switch 2 only in Japan. Switch 2 and PC in Asia. Just typically like a Japanese, Chinese, and English version there. They're finally releasing the PS5 version in Japan in February 19th. And then for the West, they're releasing it on PS5, Switch 2, and PC on February 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good for the weird way they've released this in Japan. They're not really doing any of that here in the West. So if you have PS5, Switch 2, or PC, you can get it on day one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. See?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is weird. It's not my favorite Ys. It did review well, and like there are definitely some points that I like, but like as far as the modern Ys games, this is like my least favorite of the three, and I don't really see much of a reason to release a definitive version. Like what I'm reading
Mm-hmm.
here is, it's talking about the same stuff in a high difficulty dungeon and a brand new storyline, but I'm like, I don't know how relevant any of this stuff is because this in the timeline, this is a younger adult. So it's like you're not really getting much new stuff because at the same time, if you've played any of the older games and played with the older adults, like at this point, who cares? So I don't know. This will probably be a skip for me, but for anybody that loved these 10, I'm sure this will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's available. Or that will be available. Similar fashion, another JRPG will be releasing the following week on the 27th, which is Tales of Berseria Remastered for
Mm-hmm.
PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've abandoned the Tales series, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is probably no, this one definitely is the most recent one aside from Arise, and I don't think it was even 10 years ago. I the they're doing this remaster thing for like a limited time, and to me this is just a waste of time because you can still buy this wherever. They're playable on the modern console, so there's really not much of a point to get this one. I really wish they went with an older game in the series or one that like we can't get anymore. Like there's a bunch on PS2 that haven't been remade and they're stuck there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is rough. But aside from that, like like I said, I've abandoned this series all but entirely. Brandon might have more, but I've never even played this game. So
Mm. Well, I actually have, and it was one of my favorites of the newer ones. But I will say that you kind of have to play like Tales of Zestiria in order to understand it because it's a prequel to that one. And to be quite frank, it's better written than Tales of Zestiria was. But
I did not know that, but I did like Zisteria. So
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was let's see, yeah, PS3 and PS4. I don't know if they released at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um okay, yeah, we didn't get the PS3 version, we got the PS4 for that. And yeah, PC as well. So yeah, only PS4 and PC essentially in the West
Mm-hmm.
here. So yeah, Switch people and Xbox people get this for the first time, essentially.
I don't know. Like, what's even more wild is this isn't even a Switch 2 game. This would have been ideal there too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's curious what the frame rates and all that is for this thing, because as we've seen with the pre games, they don't always take advantage of the hardware that much for these. I would bet the Switch version is locked at 30 FPS, despite it being essentially a PS3 game at start. So there you go, Bandai Namco doing what they do.
Yep.
But yeah, we have another game here that is not coming out this year, Opus Prism Peak. This was supposed to be out this fall at some point, but now has been delayed to March of next year. So yeah, not really too big of a surprise there, considering we would know dates at this point if it was coming out. But yeah, that'll be Switch, Switch 2, and PC sometime in March.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you
go. This is one of those games I've been having my eye on. I want them to, take as much time as they need.
Yeah, this is also an indie title I've had my eye on as well. They've been really bits and pieces with this one, and the more I see of it, the more excited I get, but also the more confused I get as to what this actually is. And yeah, like that spells, a game that's definitely in my wheelhouse, so I'm looking forward to it actually coming out.
Yeah. Is that? We've got some more good news for level 5 as they just released Inazuma 11 Victory Road. They have surpassed 500,000 copies sold in the first week.
Yep.
Which is great to see.
Oh yeah.
They basically have done very well for them. And it seems like people do like this new one, which is great. I'll probably check it out at some point, but I've got Fantasy Life I to finish before I worry about this thing. So yeah, that's one you can check out here if you want to have a nice little soccer RPG kind of game. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and it's a series they've been doing since like 2008, and looks like it's fine. Like it's one of their franchises that's actually catching on. Without in lieu of Professor Layton and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this one, but if it brings us closer to a Blue Lock game, I'm all about it.
Yeah, so there you go for that. Some good news. For the Nintendo news of the week, they're basically going to war with their fans who like
as they do on occasion.
Yeah, Kirby Air Riders. Essentially, there was a fan game that came out some time ago in Japan that got banned because it's using Nintendo characters. So of course, that featured the chef Kawasaki in a micro bikini. And so, being that the new game Kirby Air Riders has the ability to customize these little machines with different shapes and such, as well as stickers and all that kind of stuff that you can sell on the community markets, essentially, which I think it works pretty weirdly. I think it's an auction style system, and that you don't get to look at everything that's available. Essentially, things get pushed up once it starts getting bids, but that depends on the small people that get to see it at first. But they've essentially had fans making these versions of I think the basic Kirby Star machine with like red bikinis on it and Chef Kawasaki's face on the community market, and Nintendo's people have been taking them down as so yeah, that's a fun whole thing here. Not sure if they're getting banned, if they're just getting the listings taken down. But yeah, it seems like people have enough time that they're willing to flood the market with these things, and Nintendo taking them down. And that's fun.
That's you know, anytime you do customize anything in a video game, this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you delete these, the more they just pop up. They're like warts. They're like,
Yep.
Dan, it's just the way it is. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, it's also hard to like not have this happen because you don't want a situation where you have the most innocent customization not work because of some sort of stupid rule. I've been there as a community manager, and I've had to say no all these times, even though the gamers are right, and it is what it is. But also, does this stuff belong in the game? No. So it's one of those stalemates. I don't really have a side here. It's just funny.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Nintendo at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We got
Sort
some.
of semi-annual thing they do where they decide to declare war on their fans. It
Yeah,
happens.
they put user-generated content tools in a
Yeah.
game that frankly doesn't really need it, but Sakurai wanted it in there,
Mm-hmm.
and now Nintendo has to deal with his the mess that he's created for them,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure they're fine with. But yeah, let's get to some other news. Crystal Dynamics has had their third round of layoffs in this
Mm-hmm.
calendar year. Yeah, let's see. They put a statement on LinkedIn saying they made fewer than 30 people redundant across various departments and processes to restructure the company. Crystal deeply thanks all of those impacted for their incredible talent, hard work, and dedication, which helped shape the studio in so many ways. We're committed to offering our fullest resources and support to you during this transition.
Mm.
Yeah, not really a huge surprise. They've been through some rough times here lately. They had Perfect Dark, which was one of the games the studio was working on, canceled at the
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft end. And they laid off 17 people in March, and then laid off an undisclosed amount in August after the Microsoft stuff directly. I'm sure this is further restructuring after that as well. They're working on the Tomb Raider game for Amazon and all that. So yeah, we'll see where that ends up going. But they're not done with that anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it,
Yeah.
it never gets easier reporting on a layoff again, especially as someone
Mm-hmm.
that's experienced myself. Once again, this one hits close to home for me. There were almost the entire month of October and like half of this month, like I was not available, and the reason being was because I was running a uh, career day for my college for my Filipino American alumni association there, and my featured speaker was Belinda Garcia Magid. She was a narrative writer on Crystal Dynamics, and she is definitely somebody who was like writing for Tomb Raider. And yeah, she was one of the people affected. So I found out about this 2 weeks ago, and after hosting a career day no less, then all of a sudden, talking about survival and all things like that, and just to have this happen to her, it just absolutely sucks. Like she's done amazing things in her career. She created Isabella Reyes, the lone Filipino character in Call of Duty Warzone. And like yeah, like especially to my community, like that's huge. And hopefully she finds work sooner than later. But yeah, at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
it's never easy to hear about this stuff. I was a little bit AFK when we talked about Square Enix last week, and like while I don't have anything as close to that, like part of what really sucks with that announcement was the fact that you know um, I honestly think the best developer this year has been Square Enix, but making these dumb decisions and all of a sudden doubling down on AI, it just doesn't sit right with me, and it's just really rough. And to say that going back to Crystal Dynamics, that they're really trying to you know get more focal with Tomb Raider. Like, how do you do that by getting rid of someone in the writer's room? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. We got some Ubisoft news. First up, the last minute layoff of the fiscal year report last week ended up being for nothing really. It seemed like mostly just figuring out their what was it here that they said? Restatement of earnings for fiscal year 2024 to 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of just finalizing some details on this. Their stock's now available to trade in, so
Mm.
nothing really lost there, and nothing really to add for this. They're basically officially confirming the 10-cent funding for the Vantage Studios
Mm-hmm.
subsidiary at that point. So yeah, see where that ends up going. But otherwise, nothing really much else to add here. Nothing dramatic happened
Mm-hmm.
after last week.
Yep.
So then they announced this thing, a new. I don't know if this is a new game just yet, but it is their like test thing for AI called Teammates that
Mm-hmm.
relies on generative AI. That is not really a huge surprise, especially how much they kind of jumped into NFTs for a bit there for one game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they call this their first playable generative AI research project, built in engine, which is what makes a lot of the Division 2 and Star Wars Outlaws and some of that. It's a first-person shooter that includes an AI assistant named Jasper and two AI-powered squad mates called
Mm-hmm.
Pablo and Sophia. Players can command these two to help them solve puzzles or engage in combat using natural voice commands.
Mm.
Meanwhile, Jasper can help track missions, offer advice, and provide guidance when needed. This is the same team behind Ubisoft's Neo NPCs,
Mm.
which they showed off at GDC last year. Um, and those were just AI powered NPCs that could react to things you said to them. But yeah, this is certainly trying to make this more of a gamey thing. They're trying to say it won't remove the human element from video game development, though they've certainly been
Mm.
trying to. I think it was their Anno game that just came out a few weeks ago. People found one of the loading screen pieces of art was generated in AI, which are like, oh, this is placeholder art, and everybody called them out on that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's placeholder, you make it more obvious, not generate some stuff in AI that can almost look real enough if you don't scrutinize it too much
Mm.
for that. So yeah, no idea if this will end up turning into an actual game, but uh, I wouldn't be surprised if it just never goes anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just shows that they're working on some AI stuff that could be good for potential stockholders and all that, and never really make it out to the light of day. But we'll see. They try and
Mm-hmm.
release something in this vein at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it's Ubisoft sort of being Ubisoft. I will say though, it was that there was like a few days when people were straight up painting about like, oh crap, is Ubisoft finally falling to pieces, or they fix to get bought out or something? It's like, no,
yeah,
just regular shit.
yeah. So yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Yeah, we got the Game Awards. They announced their nominees, and much like every year, you come into this being further confused what qualifies for some of these categories,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is typical of any award situation like this. Like, go look at what qualifies for different categories
Mm.
in the Oscars and the Emmys and the Grammys and all that. Um, what was it? The one year the Martian won best
Mm-hmm.
comedy slash musical,
Yeah.
and you would not describe that movie as either of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of trying to put these things into boxes that they don't always fit neatly in there.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, we'll start with the game of the year, the big one. Let's see, we got Claire Obscure Expedition 33, as expected. Death Stranding
Yeah.
2
Let's.
on the
I'm.
beach.
Yeah, I'm calling it now. That game is going to sweep the awards. It is the golden child for this year, and it is pretty much going to win just about everything it's nominated for.
Yeah. So there's that. Let's see. We got Stranger Things on the beach. I was just a little bit surprised, but not really.
Yeah.
That thing's benefited from kind of hindsight on Death Stranding 1 because I don't think that first game really had much in the presence for awards.
Yeah.
The year it came out, was like Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is not too much of a surprise. Hades 2, also not a surprise. Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and probably the most surprising thing here is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is a game that I feel like I didn't really ever hear anybody talking
Hmm.
about among critics for very long. It felt like it just kind of came and went. So yeah,
I mean, you can arguably say that about most releases. Kingdom Come Deliverance. What really shocked me about that one was because I know I didn't expect that one when it came out, but then when it did, it got like nines all over the place. And,
Hmm.
it was one of those games that we were offered, and like nobody wanted to review it. So I was like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, it is what it is now. And yeah, I guess the real surprising part, honestly, is the fact that it came out so early, yet at the same time, it still got the attention it got to get up here. Like I was thinking something like even a dispatch could get up here just because of recency. And honestly, like recency bias didn't exist in this Game Awards nomination round at all.
yeah. I would say the stuff that's on the fringes for this is stuff like Ghost Tay.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is on some of these lists that maybe is surprising it didn't. Like maybe Battlefield. I don't know. I don't know that would
Mm.
maybe move up enough. So he'll F like maybe. I don't know, but yeah, getting the those six seems like a solid thing, and yeah, this will be fun to see if Claire Obscure wins or if it ends up getting upset like it happens in some years. I want to say, did Red Dead Redemption 2 win the
Hmm.
year it came out? I want to say that one everybody expected it to, and then it went to something else.
Hmm.
No, let's see. Redemption release year.
Uh,
That was 2018. No, it definitely did not win 2018. 2018 game of the year was God of War. That was a really God of War. We
Yeah.
had Spider Man. I think Ghost of Tsushima. No, not Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, God of War, Spider Man.
Celeste, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah, that I remember that being like, oh, Red Dead Redemption's gonna win this. It was God of War, and it's like, all right, that's cool. Something that
Definitely would.
wasn't like the yeah. It felt like the way that Red Dead Redemption, yeah, because that won best narrative, best score, best audio design, best performance. And I was like, oh no, it's sweeping everything, and then it's
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, one of those fun things to see. Let's see what else we got here. Best performance. Uh,
Mm.
Blair Obscure Expedition is going to lose this one at least
Yeah.
because there's three of them.
Mm.
Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, and Jennifer English
You'll be
all in
surprised.
this. Erica Ishii is in this, which is a great inclusion. Troy Baker for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle because that one came out too late for that. Also, it got shut out of probably everything else because that game came out so late. And then Konatsu Kato of Silent Hill F. So yeah, some great choices there.
Hmm.
Uh, Best ongoing game: Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky.
Mm.
You could probably go for Fortnite on this, though I would like to see No Man's Sky win
Hmm.
because they had some really great updates, especially the one that lets you build your own ship, kind of thing, as well as some of the other stuff that they did as well. Um,
Hmm.
uh, let's see, best mobile game: Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves.
Mhm.
Let's see the anime horse girl game win it, and
Mhm.
had to deal with that. Let's see, Best Art Direction, Player Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Mhm.
I can see Ghost of Yote getting this. That game looks so good.
Oh yeah.
With indie roots, Hollow Knight Silk Song also looks really good. They
Mhm.
went above and beyond even the original game's looks for this one.
Mhm.
Let's see, best score in music: Hollow Knight, Hades 2, Clair Obscur, Ghost of Yote, Death Stranding 2. Starting to lock into, we like these games, and they're getting nominated for everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you could probably go with any of these really. Clair Obscur has the great music where they just say Clair Obscur. Let's see, best audio design: Battlefield 6, Clair Obscur, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yote, and Silent Hill F.
Mhm.
Really good ones there. Best adaptation. This is a weird group here. A Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, which people didn't like. Splinter
Mhm.
Cell Death Watch, which was good. The Last of Us Season 2, which some people didn't like. Until Dawn, which I feel like a lot of people didn't like. And it's like, where is Twisted Metal Season 2 in this? That
Mhm.
was really good. Uh, yeah, that feels like one of those that gets people just nominating things that they've heard of.
Yeah, I think it's because since they had such a split season one, they just don't even consider it good anymore or even give it a chance. In my
Mhm.
opinion, one thing that's really missing here is Sonic 3. I don't think anybody hated Sonic 3. Sonic 3 was good actually, and it's not here.
Mhm.
Yeah, was that this year?
It was in December, so it didn't make the cutoff for last year. It
Okay.
should have been this.
Unfortunately.
Then people just forgot about it.
Yeah,
Like a lot
like
of
Mhm.
there, there's been talk about like maybe the panel needing a reminder of what came out at the end of the previous year to try to put it here, but at the same time, like Indiana Jones made it in whatever it could. So
yeah. And also, I think from what Jeff Gersman said, like you don't have to fill out things if you don't have any idea what it's there.
yeah,
And I feel like
yeah,
some of the people need to lean on that
yeah,
because it's things that like, feels like half the audience hated in there, and then you're like, I guess because you just needed to put something in there. Let's see. Best Narrative: Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. I feel like you could go for Silent Hill F here if you want. Death Stranding 2 has the most story
Mhm.
to it. But yeah, that or Clair Obscur.
Mhm.
See, community supports. There's Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. Community supports. I don't know which would go for this. Maybe No Man's Sky or Fortnite, I guess.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
yeah. My vote here ended up going to Helldivers only because like I've always seen like their community manager in the DMs and whatever it may be. But
Mhm.
I don't actively play any of these games. So I don't really have much of it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got first of our indie categories for Impact, which has Consume Me, Despelote, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wanderstar.
Mhm.
I feel like you go Consume Me or Despelote on this. I think those are the
Mhm.
two standout of this group for everything they're covering.
Mhm.
Yeah, normally I'm big on this category. Also, shout out to Pop Agenda. They published like most of these games, so that's great on them. You guys know how much I hate Bloom and Rage, but again, I get why that's there.
Mhm.
Despelote I wasn't really that high on, but Consume Me is a game that I've always wanted to make time to play but haven't. So we'll see how that one goes. I did end up voting for um South of Midnight, and I think like they'll really go that direction. Probably have all those games. South of Midnight probably has the biggest name, and I'm not sure why Wanderstop is in there. Like I know it's cozy. I know Brandon reviewed it, so maybe he can understand why it's in it. But aside from that, I don't know if that one really fits in there.
Yeah, that one's kind of about burnout culture,
Mhm.
which in the modern day is a very important thing to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I was hoping for Tua T to be in there. Tua T wasn't nominated for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Best multiplayer: Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
We can see Battlefield 6 probably winning this.
Yeah.
For how big that game is.
I don't know. I think it might go to Arc Raiders, and Peak could also be a dark horse there because Peak has really maintained its status quo as far as like concurrent members on Steam and whatnot. And then obviously Split Fiction has the name, but I don't know. I think Arc Raiders might actually be the big one here.
Maybe. I feel like Battlefield 6 has blown up and kind of been like the first one of these to really put a dent in the Call of Duty armor for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. So that one I feel like has that one locked up. But yeah, let's see. Best independent game: Absalom, Ball Pit, Blueprints, Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, which again continues to highlight how weird that category is.
Yeah.
Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silk Song.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like Claire could easily take that because of the prominence of that game. But I
Mm-hmm.
could also see Hades 2 or Hollow Knight kind of getting the protest votes from the people that are against calling that an independent game.
Oh yeah.
Because I think you could go at it a number of ways for like the publisher or even just the amount of people that worked on it, considering that's a game that, you know, is thrown around. It was made by like 40 people, but there was also hundreds of contractors, and I feel like that starts to push it out of what you can call size.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why not put Death Stranding 2 here? That's exactly an indie team, but then you'd say Sony's publishing it, and it's like, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one. And the other indie category is Best Debut Indie Game: Blueprints, Clair Obscure, Expedition 33, Despelote, Dispatch, and Megabonk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add the news here that the Megabonk's developer essentially asked to be withdrawn from the list because they said that basically that's I've made games under other names as a
Mm-hmm.
solo developer, I believe. And so this isn't my actual debut. It's just the first game of theirs that got any notoriety
Mm-hmm.
to it, and so asked to be removed, which is a good move, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly wouldn't see like the Dave the Diver people being like, "Well, we're published by a big mega corporation. We don't need to be here." And yeah, so yeah, that's the whole thing there. It says it's an honor and a dream for Megabonk to be nominated for TGA, but unfortunately, I don't think it qualifies for the category indie game. I make it under so Megabonk is not my debut game. But yeah, I really appreciate the nomination, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in this category. But does recommend checking out the other games, saying they are all amazing games. Thanks again. New Megabonk update coming soon. And if you don't know this game, it's essentially like 3D Vampire Survivors is basically the main selling point. It is that, but more nonsense to it. It's got like meme stuff in it. As far as I know, I've not played it yet. I'll probably check it out at some point, but yeah. So I believe this is down to 4 games in it.
Yeah.
Which probably goes to Clair Obscure. I assume.
Yeah.
The Dispatch would be a big dark horse, I think, on this, way that's blown up lately. Let's see. We'll skip around some of these other ones. Best VR AR game is Alien Rogue Incursion, Arcane Age, Ghost Town, Midnight Walk, and Deadpool VR, which technically wasn't out around when they announced this list, I think. I think it was like the 18th or 19th, but I believe they made it available to people that were voting ahead of time. Which I'm guessing probably made it easier for them to nominate. It was like, oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
again, like keep in mind that the panel is pretty much just like the top games journalists outlets all over the world. So
Mm.
Deadpool VR did go early to some people, so that's great. The thing it's kind of weird to me is that, for example, the dispatch, like it did not
Mm.
go in there because of the way it was released. So again, like no one is really going to look at the Game Awards as granular as people like us are, but that's, this category is a perfect example of a situation where, okay, this game isn't even out yet, so how did this even happen? But it's also important to note like how these things get nominated in the first place.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm trying to double check for this last one here. Yeah. So the most anticipated 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to go to GTA 6, even though it won last year, which should, essentially strike it from the following year's list. It's like you already had your chance. Doesn't matter if you got delayed or whatever.
Mm.
Let other games get a chance at being highlighted here.
Mm.
But yeah, GTA 6 is going to win that.
Yep, that's pure marketing. We don't even need this category.
Let's see. Yeah, for some of these other ones, Best Action Adventure Game, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hollow Knight, Indiana Jones, and Split Fiction. You got Best Role Playing Game, Avowed, Claire Obscure, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. And it's like, there's an angle you can go at where Monster Hunter Wilds isn't a great fit for that. Like, I would put that in action adventure.
Mm.
And then allow, other games that maybe came out, like Trails in the Sky First Chapter, or was it 100 Line Company, whatever that was,
Mm-hmm.
that could fit in there. But yeah, that's a little bit weird for that.
Yep.
Best fighting game, or go ahead.
Yeah, this one is just stupid. Like there had to be like a JRPG category here because, you know, um a lot of people love Avowed, but nobody liked Avowed as much as they liked Trails in the Sky or Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
those two titles should have been here somewhere, anywhere, and like we didn't get to it yet. But FF Tactics is a remake of like a 20-year-old game, and it's somehow going to be the front runner in strategy, and like no one really cares about like the JRPG unless they're Final Fantasy or Persona, and that sucks. Like again,
Mm.
like just going back to Trails, and I was gonna talk about Trails. That game is top 10 in ratings this year alone, and the fact that it's not even going to be mentioned unless it gets into the fan vote, and I don't see that happening because I think our creators will take it. I don't know. It's just it doesn't sit right with me, and that's very
Mm.
disappointing, especially looking at like the rest of the category. Yeah, Claire Obscure was probably going to win, and I'm not complaining about that. But let's get the right games in here. Avowed, again, that's like the most mid game on here. I love Monster Hunter Wilds. Maybe you can talk about that being an action adventure, but I agree with it being here to an extent. And then
Mm-hmm.
Outer Worlds 2 is like just slightly better Avowed in my opinion. I don't know. It's just this is the one category that really bothers me.
Mm.
Yeah. Let's see. Then there's Fighting Game, which is full of old games. There's Virtua Fighter 5, Revo World Stage, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, Capcom Fighting Collection. Just like, here's a collection of like 6 different fighting games. Um, there's 2XKO and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves are the only new ones on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is also another example of a category that probably doesn't even have to be here every year. Last year it was awesome, right? You have all of the heavy contenders from every like major fighting game franchise. Here you have a game that's in early access, and then you have two collections of a bunch of old games. Fatal Fury is the only new game on here, and then Virtua Fighter 5 is just recoded. So I don't
Mm.
know. It's just weird.
And Fatal Fury wasn't that well liked
Mm.
either. Again, another category where it's like, oh, this is what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing big came out this year. I'm surprised they didn't even put like Street Fighter 6 back on here because it came out on the Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, action game has things you would expect: Battlefield 6, Doom: The Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4,
Mm-hmm.
Shinobi: Art of Vengeance. Accessibility, innovation, and accessibility is Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom: The Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26, and
Mm.
South of Midnight. I would maybe put Ghost of Yotei on there. That has some really cool stuff to it, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I find it weird that some categories have 6 and some have 5. That's weird.
I think that happens with ties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Best Family Game has Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing, Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction.
Mm.
I think you could see Sonic Racing taking this, but I would assume maybe Donkey Kong does.
Yeah, I
Mm.
like, every year we call this the Nintendo category,
Yep.
and this is the year where this is probably the least Nintendo we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it were up to me, it would go to Lego Party just because Lego Party like is just awesome in every version of the word. I do like Split Fiction too, but it being only 2 players to me doesn't really make it fit. And at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, like Brandon, you've played Split Fiction or It Takes Two or no?
I have watched people play them
Okay,
because I
okay.
don't have anybody to play with, but yes, I have
Okay.
definitely seen them.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect reasoning. You've seen them. There's a lot of mature content in that. I would not call them
Oh,
adult.
yes.
Those games get extremely dark, extremely violent, and I'm like, I don't know if I want my family.
Especially It Takes Two. I am still trying to
Yeah,
scrub the memory of that poor elephant out of my
I'm not
head.
even talking about the elephant. I'm talking about the vacuum cleaner, the very first boss in the game where you suck his eyes up. I'm like, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
that's not ideal. And then Split Fiction also has this dentist scene that is not ideal for kids either. So I'm like, all
Mm.
right, cool. But yeah, I'm actually really interested in seeing how this one goes. Donkey Kong Bonanza is only 1 player, but wait, I think it's 2. I'm not quite sure, but it's also one that you can enjoy with your family watching, and
Mm-hmm.
the moments that Pauline shares with DK when they go to bed are just always awesome. So looking forward to just the way that goes. And I
Mm.
would love to live in a world where Sonic Racing Crossworlds beats Mario Kart, but I don't know. I really think this is a two-headed race between Donkey Kong and Mario Kart. Although, again, I want Lego Party to win. But
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is a fun one.
Yeah. Best Sim Strategy Game, The Alters, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evil East Chronicles, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. I could see Final Fantasy Tactics winning this, or 2 Point Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Civ's not strong for this category. Um, yeah, I don't know anything else here really has the juice for it, but there's
Yeah,
that.
my vote only went to Civ because it has the biggest community, but
Mm.
I'm hoping the Alters takes it. If Tactics wins, which I definitely see happening, that'll make me mad based on what I said earlier. But yeah, is what it is.
Yeah, best sports racing game. Uh, EAFC 26, F1 25, uh, Mario Kart World Rematch, Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Yeah, this is another category where I'm like, there's better games than this, but they don't make the list because
Mm.
nobody cares about baseball. But yeah, Mario
Yeah,
Kart World's not going to win this. I don't think it should.
Mm.
probably
Um,
will.
but Sonic Racing probably is the one that wins here, or F1.
I don't know. I see a world where it's probably going to be FC just because it's the biggest sport in the world. That being said, like this category bothers me. Like Chris talked about baseball. Um, College football should have been nominated last year. Should have been nominated this year. I thought Madden was the better game this year, and yeah, we're not seeing any football. That sucks.
Mm.
Yeah, but I feel like this was the year that FC was received very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yep. It's the first thing on the category.
Yeah, but it's the one that most people know.
Yeah, it's the
Mm.
one that most people know. And again, like this is voted on by journalists around the world, and unfortunately, people in Europe don't care about American football. So
Yep.
Yeah. We'll skip these esports categories because who cares? And best game directions, the last one: Claire Obscure, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. Which that's a
Mm.
weird one to pop onto there, considering it's the third one of these kind of games they've made.
Mm.
And it's like you fucking pull this on Hollow Knight at this point, putting it with all these other games in every other category, and you're like, no, fuck them and their direction. They didn't do shit for 7 years or whatever.
Funny enough, Split Fiction did get my vote. For those of you that played it, that last level is better than anything that I can think of this year. That's why it's going to be very high on my own list. And yeah, it's definitely outdone anything that Ferris' team has done before. Granted, again, yeah, we've seen a lot of this stuff in It Takes Two. We've seen a lot of this stuff in A Way Out, and I get the fatigue with it. But at the same time, we're talking about direction. That being said, I'm not taking anything away from Sandfall and Kojima Productions and Sucker Punch. But yeah, it's going to be a really competitive one. But Brandon talked about it earlier. I think Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is going to absolutely clean up. Chris mentioned that he thinks it's not going to be Expedition 33 during the actor one or best performance. I think it very much will. Like, yeah, they all did a good job, but Jennifer English was in a class of her own when it came to Mael, and I don't think anybody is going to vote for anything else there. It's very possible that we see some split votes here, but considering that we're talking about the most nominated game of all time at the Game Awards, I really see it cleaning up. And I'm someone that does not think it was the best game, but I don't think anything is going to touch the momentum of this game this year.
Yeah. Well, I said it wasn't going to win because they have 3 other people.
No. You're absolutely right. I get that, but I think that the people that like Clair Obscur are going to unanimously choose Jennifer English over the other 2.
Yeah.
So.
I'm just saying they're going to lose 2 at least.
Oh, got it.
Because there's not giving out 3 of these awards for the same category. So yeah, there's your awards. That'll be, I think, the 11th. Okay. So I believe we will be co-streaming this and see what awards are picked and all that. So yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like it's not even that. Obviously, like a lot of people do care about the awards. Not enough people, or not a lot of people are going to care about it the way we are, as far as like breaking them down and whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, the biggest reason why the Game Awards is the biggest thing of the year is because we get those trailers. Who knows what to expect? There's going to be a lot of surprises. There's going to be a lot of stuff that people expect. But at the end of the day, like the reason why I like the Game Awards is because I love the live orchestra that they have during the Game of the Year category. I am definitely looking forward to the music being played for all of these games here, honestly. Like Team Cherry did a great job with Silk Song. Hades 2 has awesome music. We know about how good Death Stranding is, but yeah, hearing both stuff from Expedition 33 and Donkey Kong Bonanza, I hope we have lyricists for each one of them, and it should be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go for that, and we'll end here with the Xbox Partner Showcase.
Yeah.
Which has some interesting games. Let's see, we had start off Armistice, which I didn't realize who it was that made this. It did give me Godfall vibes to it. But yeah, then I found out like, oh, it is the Godfall developer that made this. It's a roguelite third-person shooter that very much is like, what if we mashed Destiny and the Souls style of Gothic? It's more modern. It's like maybe more in the Bloodborne kind of style of location to it, because I think it's set in Paris. Yeah, the demon-infested ruins of Paris and all that. And it's like, all right, sure. That looks all right. That's out next year for PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, PC, and will be on Game Pass. Then we got The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. A new Cthulhu game. This is a cooperative survival psychological horror game. Where you're fighting these different creatures that you kind of expect for this kind of thing. So that looked alright. That'll be out next summer for PS5, Xbox, and PC. Dave the Diver launched on Xbox the day of this showcase, and then they also showed off Into the Jungle DLC that's coming out early next year for some more content for that game, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else there. No. Let's see. Then we got Crowsworn, which
Mm-hmm.
is a neat looking. Let's say, what if you did Hollow Knight meets Dark Souls, but with crows as your characters here? Had a lot of vibes of that stuff. That'll be on PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. No date on this one, but also be on Game Pass. Echo Generation 2, a sequel to the, what you call this art style. It's kind of how you would describe it, but yeah, the original was kind of what if we did Stranger Things as like a JRPG kind of thing, uncovering a big conspiracy that's going on and all this, and they're making a new one that seems to be, I guess, set in it says a new dimension, so it's in like a cyberpunk world essentially, which makes it weird that like, oh, this is a sequel. And then there's like a screenshot of a DeLorean style vehicle. I don't know. Going heavy on some references here, I guess.
Yeah.
But that looks neat. That's probably going to be an Xbox exclusive
Mm-hmm.
for the time being. Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. No dates really for that, but probably
Mm-hmm.
next year. Then we got one of the wild announcements: Vampire Crawlers,
Yep.
which is the new game from Ponkel, makers of Vampire Survivors. They made
Mm-hmm.
essentially a roguelike deck builder, but in the vein of Vampire Survivors, which I don't know what was going on in this trailer, but it looked interesting. It's basically what if you
Mm-hmm.
made first person Vampire Survivors, but every like enemy you fight turns into a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in the scope of a normal Vampire Survivors run, but they show points where you have like 20, 30 cards in your hand, like it's Uno.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at points you just like throw a bunch of cards onto the field or whatever at once, and all the effects play up and all that, and you're earning XP like the original game and all that. That looks uh, as ridiculous as you would expect
Mm-hmm.
them to be with all this. So yeah, that looks interesting. Supposed to be out sometime next year for PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So that looks really neat. There's Roadside Research. I saw this on a Steam Next Fest demo thing. They announced an Xbox version for this essentially, which is basically what if you took one of those gas station simulator
Mm-hmm.
games, but instead of playing as a human, you're
Yeah.
playing as aliens with faces drawn on paper that they're wearing over their faces
Mm-hmm.
to fool humans into thinking they're humans.
Yeah.
And then the wacky hijinks that happens from that. And I think you need to keep the store solvent, or people start figuring out that you're not humans.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Weird stuff for that. So yeah, that's Xbox and PC and Game Pass early next year. It's going into early access, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Total Chaos, which is out now. It's a psychological horror game with music by Akira Yamaoka of Silent Hill fame. It's out on PS5, Xbox, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
You can check that one out. And also, it's on Game Pass. Reanimal has a date now, February
Mm-hmm.
13th. This is from the devs that made the first two Little Nightmares games.
Yep.
Essentially decided to uh, go and make their own version of that for, let's see, PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC. So it'll be out for 13th for that. We got Erosion, which is like a Wild West open world roguelike action game.
Mm-hmm.
With a pretty interesting art style to it. But yeah, I guess the whole premise they showed off here is that you're trying to rescue your daughter or something.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you fail, it goes 10 years in the future.
Mm.
So you start with her as a baby, and potentially you could get to the point where you don't rescue her until she's an old lady.
Mm-hmm.
There's like other stuff going on here to it, but looks neat. That's let's see, Xbox, PC, and uh PS5 and Game Pass for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me as more of a roguelite like Sifu, except Sifu was just like a game made to the hard. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's funny with that one because when you die, that it's 10 years in the future. But I'm like, at that point, shouldn't so and so die? But it is what it is.
Yeah. Then we got
Mm.
Zoom, which is the new game from the developers of Fist, Forge, and Shadow Torch.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, which is more of a 3D action adventure game versus a Metroidy kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC at some point. And yeah, we found out that is using Gen AI. People thought it was
Mm-hmm.
in the trailer, but they sort of clarified that essentially. Let's see what they said here. All our works are original creations and the culmination of our artists' hard work and dedication. AI will only be used to assist players in producing user-generated content at a lower cost, such as vehicle skins, clothing, color schemes, and similar items. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, AI serves as a tool to support players in secondary creations and in maintaining the mod, which is like,
Mm.
so it's
Bullshit.
just for like character creator type stuff and vehicle skins and all this kind of shit that people don't really need it for.
Mm-hmm.
Real weird kind of thing to be like, oh, we made the game without AI, but this side thing has AI in it. And it's like, I don't know. Also,
Mm.
it's weird for a game that's very much built on uh, furry, you know, influence. That they pick the one community that likes to pay artists,
Yeah.
uh, especially. So, great job.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
really annoying. It's really annoying. Like out of everything here, that was probably the one that caught my eye the most. And as soon as that came out, I was like, "Oh, come on, guys! Damn it!"
Mm.
Yeah, the first game is very cool.
Oh yeah.
So I was looking forward to their follow up, and it's like, oh, too bad. That was
Yeah.
a nice idea, I guess. Let's see. The Clover Pit announced they're out for Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One now,
Yep.
as well as on Game Pass, so you can check it out there for that fun little slot machine roguelite kind of thing where it's full of let's say horror tropes, essentially like you're trying to survive this and beat the devil essentially. Usually
Mm-hmm.
just put you in this whole place. So yeah, that's a game I recommend. I enjoyed a lot
Mm-hmm.
on Steam. Hopefully it keeps going to other platforms. We'll see.
Mm.
This is probably the most surprising announcement. Hitman World of Assassination was part of this, and they announced their new elusive target, which is Eminem versus Slim Shady.
Yep.
Basically, the premise is that Eminem has tried to kill Slim Shady before,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but has been unable to do so. So he enlists the world's foremost hitman to do it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be an elusive target for all of December, December 1st to the
Mm.
31st. So yeah, it looks like that should be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not the wildest one of those. They just
Mm.
had one that was involved Bruce Lee.
Yep.
For as weird as that is, there's also the Gary Busey one they had voted on
Mm-hmm.
back when the original Hitman release. That was weird. But yeah, there's that. We got Tides of Annihilation, which is a
Mm-hmm.
Souls-like. Um,
Yep.
Basically, this whole trailer was just a big boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Showing what happens if you do everything perfectly and
Mm-hmm.
never make any mistakes. So it's unrealistic gameplay.
Yep.
You just see all the cool stuff, and it's like, well, how about you just have the game do this for me? This looks better than
Mm-hmm.
what I would do. Um, so yeah, that is what platforms is that? It's PS5, Xbox, and PC for that. So yeah, no date on that one, and then they ended on Raji Kali Yuga,
Mm-hmm.
which is the follow up to Raji and Ancient Epic.
Yep.
So yeah, looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
bit more of a higher budget thing instead of like a 2D game. It's a 3D action adventure game. That'll be PS5, Xbox, PC at some point. I think also Game Pass on that one. So yeah, pretty solid lineup of stuff here. The other part of this is that everything here is also going to support Xbox Play Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get it on Xbox, it'll also be playable on the Windows, the Xbox PC stuff for the new handhelds and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So there's that.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid presentation. I
Oh
liked
yeah.
it a lot. The big thing for me, especially aside from them all being play anywhere, was the fact that a lot of them, like it seemed like it was not typically what you expect out of Xbox. When I think of the
Nope.
Xbox brand, I think of shooties, pew pew, and racing, and we got a lot of variety here, and I definitely appreciate that. The best thing was definitely putting more dates on my notes. Granted, there weren't a whole lot of dates. All I see is like what Reanimal and the Hitman. And oh, let's go back to the Hitman thing real quick. During Summer Game Fest, I was at IO Interactive's event, and that thing sucked. It was an absolute shit show. They even focused on Mind's Eye for no reason at all. And
Mm.
had they showed this Eminem stuff back then, I would have been hype as hell for it. I definitely want to do this, and I'm not a Hitman guy, so yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. It looked like their first event. They didn't hire anybody that knew how to do that kind of stuff to make it look better, but the fun Hitman stuff they had are for Hitman and 007 was neat, but
Mm.
the Mind's Eye stuff was like, oh yeah, you guys are contractually obligated to be like, we're still doing this. But yeah. Any thoughts here for you, Brandon?
Well, yeah, like Dan Rip said, this isn't very typical of Xbox, but I will say there are definitely a few titles on here I'm definitely interested in. Omen of Cthulhu, that's definitely looks interesting. Total Chaos also, like it looks really cool, and I actually would love to give that one a shot. Both Vampire Crawlers and Roadside Research also look good because Vampire Crawlers, I mean, I really like Vampire Survivors, and Roadside Research because I just love quirky simulation games like that. Um, let's see. I was interested in Zoopunk until I found out that yes, they're using AI, and I was like, okay, well, screw it. And Clover Pit, I definitely want to give a shot at some point because it looks like one of those things I'm really into. And Erosion also looks interesting as well. I like the whole idea of like the time jumping mechanic. But yeah, not a bad showcase, I got to be honest. And it's definitely off the beaten path for what you expect from Microsoft. So
Yeah. It feels like a showcase for Game Pass and Play Anywhere to
mm-hmm,
further highlight that stuff for the new handhelds they just had come out, as well as the price increase for Game Pass. These
mm-hmm,
are more things that will be available day one.
yep,
The whatever 75 I think they said they would have for next year.
mm-hmm,
You gotta pay for them somehow. So
yep.
yeah, there you go. I think it's gonna end up in the showcase or in the show here. So yeah, thank you to Brandon and Danner for joining this week.
Always.
We'll be back next week with a new slate of news and things to talk about. It'll be after
Mm,
Thanksgiving, so we'll at least be full from food to talk about what games we played before we passed out due to said food.
mm-hmm,
Trying to see what kind of game stuff we got this week. Yeah, not much on the list that I made here.
mm,
Constance for the PC and Terminator 2D. Yeah, that got deleted. So it's not
mm.
much out this week, unsurprisingly. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a good week ahead. We will see you all next time. Have a good one.
See
Bye.
y'all.